In this video, I'm going to be walking you through a beginner-friendly sewing project, a scrunchie. Go ahead and hit the pause button here. You might want to take a screenshot and head to your local craft store. These are all the materials that you'll need for your project. So the first step is cutting your fabric. You'll notice that I've noted some dimensions there. The longer your fabric is and the skinnier, the more scrunch you're going to have to your scrunchie. But I find that these dimensions work really well. I recommend starting with a non-stretch fabric if you're a beginner sewer. It's just a lot easier to work with. Speaking of making your life easier, this rotary cutter and mat was one of the best investments I made when I started sewing. Now we're going to start sewing, and obviously the first step is threading your machine. If you want me to walk you through that in detail, I do have another video that's dedicated to threading your sewing machine. Most machines will have a guide showing you how to thread it that you can just simply follow. Okay, needle is threaded, now onto the bobbin. So I take out the empty bobbin and place it on the bobbin winder, sliding it over and pressing the foot pedal. The keen observer might notice that I switched thread types. Sometimes I use serger thread. It's just cheaper and it honestly works fine. So now you're gonna take that fabric that you cut and fold it with the right sides in so the back side is out. Place it under your presser foot, lower it. We're gonna do a straight stitch, so that'll be number 2 on my machine. Now this part's important. Don't start right at the top. Leave about an inch of space at the top of your lengthwise section that you don't sew. Move your fabric up and then lower the presser foot and make sure that you do a lock stitch, which is that little back stitch button, so that it doesn't come undone. Now you're going to take that tube that you made and just flip it inside out. If you want to add a tag to your scrunchie, this is the step where you're going to do that. Now you should have a long, skinny tube that's right side out. Then you're going to take both ends and put them together with the right sides together. And we're going to sew those ends together to create one sort of big circle that will end up having a bit of a gap where you can feed elastic through. Now that you've got your tube sewn into a loop, it's time to add the elastic. This is another one of those things that I have tried and tested so many variations of, so just trust me. 1/4-inch braided sewing elastic. It works so well. It has a really nice amount of stretch and grip and is honestly the best option. So stick a safety pin on one end of the elastic, and then you're just gonna hold the other end of it and feed it all the way through. And you should notice that your project is starting to look like a scrunchie at this point. Make sure you don't lose either end of that elastic. Now, when it comes to securing the elastic together, this step's very important because you don't want your scrunchie to snap. Some people just double knot it, and that's fine, but I don't like to feel a little knot inside of my scrunchie, so I hot glue it and then I sew a zigzag stitch over top just to give that extra layer of security. Yes, sewing on top of hot glue can be a little bit hard on your sewing machine, but honestly, I've done it thousands of times and my machine seems to be okay. Now for the final step, the absolute secret weapon is the ladder stitch. This is an invisible sewing stitch that will make it so that when your scrunchie is finished, you don't see any thread. It really gives it a professional look and is worth learning. So the first thing I do is match up the seams in my fabric and place my clip. I spend a little bit of time doing this just to make sure that at the end it looks all nice and even. Then you're gonna go ahead and thread your needle. Now you're gonna stick it in one side of the fabric and just pick up a little bit of fabric. Then go directly across like a ladder rung and down the next side, picking up a little bit of fabric. Again, directly across, down, directly across, down. You're gonna follow this pattern until the hole that you left is fully stitched up. You never want to stick the needle through both sides of the fabric because the point is that you're just putting it in that inside layer so that you don't have any thread showing on the outside. Now you can see I'm getting to the end. The scrunchie's closed and you can't see any thread. That's a wrap. I'd love to hear your comments if there's anything that wasn't clear or if you've got any tips that you think I could use to improve. Thanks.